Okay, I think the video stopped in the middle of this question, so let's have a go of it again. So we started off with this. We have 3x minus 7 is greater than or is bigger than x plus 9. We want to get x by itself, so I want to get rid of that minus 7 there. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to add 7 to both sides. So I get this line down here. So I've added 7 to both sides. So now I end up with 3x. Well, minus 7 plus 7 gives me 0. So I'm left with 3x is bigger than x, and then 9 plus 7 is plus 16. Now I want to get x by itself, so I don't want that over there. I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to have it on this side. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides. So I'm going to rewrite 3x minus x is bigger than x plus 16 minus x. So I'm just doing the same thing to both sides. Here I'm taking away x. So now I've got 3x minus x gives me 2x is bigger than, and x minus x gives me 0. So I'm left with 16. And I want to get x by itself, so I'm going to do, here I'm multiplying x by 2. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go 2x divided by 2 is bigger than, and I'm going to divide the other side by 2 as well. And now I'm multiplying by 2, but I'm also dividing by 2, so I'm left with x is bigger than, and 16 over 2 is 8. So here's the answer. So, okay, next questions what have we got? We've got, yes, question 8. It was asking us what are the 4 methods of factorizing that we have? So the first method of factorizing, taking out a common factor. Then we had splitting the middle term, which we use for quadratics, grouping terms, and then the difference of 2 squares. So anytime we're asked to factorize, which we are in the next question, we have to use one of these methods here. So let's have a look at a few of those questions. So in question 9, the first one we're just asked, well, we're asked to factorize. It's a fairly straightforward one. We're asked to factorize 56. In the first one, we're asked to factorize 56. So 56 is just a number. Remember, factorizing means writing as a product. So I just have to write 56 as a product. So let's say I could write it as 8 times 7. There's a load of ways of doing it. I could write it as 28 times 2. Or I could write it as 4 by 7 by 2, because 4 by 7 is 28. 28 by 2 is 56. So these are all ways of factorizing 56. I could write it as 14 by 4, because 4 14s are 56. So loads of different ways. So whatever way, there's other ways other than what I've just written there. So whatever way you got will be the right answer. Okay, the second one, we have to factorize x squared. So x squared, to factorize that, well, it's just x multiplied by x. X squared is equal to x multiplied by x. And that's a straightforward one. The third one, we're going to factorize. We have x squared minus 2x. X squared minus 2x. So think about the 4 methods of factorizing and think about which one is going to work from here. So taking out a common factor, splitting the middle term, which we do for quadratics, grouping terms, or the difference of 2 squares. So it's definitely not the difference of 2 squares. We're going to take out a common factor here because there's an x in both of these. So I can write that as x multiplied by, and x times x gives me x squared, and x times minus 2x, x times minus 2 will give me minus 2x. So I didn't put that x in brackets. You can if you want, it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's number 3. So the fourth one, what do we have to factorize? We have 9x squared minus 4p squared. Now what the first thing you should notice with this is that 9 and 4, they're both square numbers. So another way to write 9x squared is 3x all to be squared, because 3 by 3 gives 9 and x by x gives x squared. And another way to write 4p squared would be 2p all to be squared, because 2 by 2 gives 4 and p by p gives p squared. So now we've got the difference of 2 perfect squares here. So I can factorize that by writing 3x minus 2p and 3x plus 2p. Now I factorize it. I've written it as a product. Okay, so 4, let's see. What's 5? The fifth one, we've got 5a squared minus 125p squared. So let's have a look at what we have. So we're either going to take out a common factor, split the middle term, if it's for quadratics, we're going to group terms, or it'll be the difference of 2 squares. So it kind of looks like the difference of 2 squares, but 5 and 125 are not perfect squares. So we're going to just take out a common factor here. And a common factor between both of them is 5. So I could rewrite this as 5 multiplied by, well, a squared, because 5 by a squared gives me 5a squared, and 5 by 25p squared will give me 125p squared. So 5 by 25 minus 25p squared will give me minus 125p squared. But then I notice the bit that's in the brackets here, a squared minus 25p squared. Well, that can be written like this. A squared minus 25p squared is the same as 5p all to be squared, because 5 by 5 gives 25 and p by p gives p squared. So now in here, if you look, I've got the difference of two perfect squares. So I could factorize this bit a little bit more and rewrite that as, well, the first part is a and the second part is 5p. So that's a minus 5p times a plus 5p by the difference of two perfect squares. So I factorize it a little bit more. And again, I haven't put the 5 in brackets, but you can if you want. It's just one thing there, so it doesn't matter if it's in brackets or not. That's a tricky question. It's a good question. So question 6, we have, I'm going to go to a new page for this one. So we have a quadratic. It's, what have we got? 6, or part 6. It's x squared plus 5x plus 6. And we have to factorize this. So the way we're going to use this, we're going to split the middle term. So we're going to multiply a by c. So in this one, a is 1, c is 6. So 1 times 6 gives me 6. And now let's factorize 6. Well, it's a positive number, so either two positive numbers or two negative numbers, because minus 2 times minus 3 also gives 6. I could have 1 and 5, or minus 1 and minus 5. No, minus 1 and 6. That should be 1 and 6, or minus 1 and minus 6. 2 and 3 are minus 2 and minus 3, and I think they're the only factors of 6. So now which of these add up to give 5? Well, 2 and 3 add up to give 5. So I'm going to split the middle term. So there's the middle term, and I'm going to split it by writing x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6, because 2x plus 3x gives 5x. And now I'm going to group these two terms, and I'm going to factorize them by taking out a common factor. So I'm going to rewrite that as x times, well, x by x will give x squared, and x times plus 2 will give plus 2x. So I have x plus 2 over here. And then, what do I multiply x by to get plus 3x? Well, I multiply it by plus 3. 3 by x gives 3x, just check, and plus 3 by plus 2 gives 6. And now I can write x plus 2 and x plus 3. So I factorize it. I factorize by splitting the middle term. Okay, so next one I've got part 7. I've got to factorize minus 18. So to factorize minus 18, well, it's a negative number, so to factorize that, I'm going to have one positive and one negative number. So minus 18, I could factorize it by writing minus 9 times 2. So 2 times minus 9 gives minus 18. Or I could write, or I could have minus 2 times 9. Or 3 multiplied by minus 6. Or minus 6 times 3. There's a whole load of different ways of doing it. So I'm going to leave it at that. But there's other ways of doing it as well. 1 times 18, or minus 1 times minus 18, or minus 1 times 18. So 7. So okay, question 8. So we're another quadratic. So we've got 2x squared, where are we? Plus 9x minus 18. So a is 2, c is minus 18. So 2 times minus 18 is minus 36. And now I'm going to factorize that. So it's a minus number, so it has to be a positive and a negative. So let me see. So we have 18 and minus 2. We have, or the opposite, minus 18 and plus 2. We have, what else? 6 and minus 6. We could have, what multiplies to give 8 or 30, minus 36. What are the other factors? So 6 and minus 6, 18 and 2, 4 and minus 9, or minus 9, or sorry, minus 4 and plus 9. So 1, 2, 3 into 36. We could have 12 and minus 3, or minus 12 and plus 3. So there are all the factors, I think, of 36. So 9 and 4, you have that. So they're the factors of 36. So which of them add up to give plus 9? Now let's have a look. Well, 12 and minus 3 add up to give plus 9. So I'm going to split the middle term by writing that as 2x squared plus 12x minus 3x, and then I have minus 18, because 12x minus 3x is 9x. And now I'm going to group these two terms and group these two, and I'm going to take out a common factor. So the highest common factor from these two terms is 2x. So I'm going to rewrite that as 2x times, and 2x by x gives me 2x squared, and 2x times plus 6, because 6 by 2x gives 12x. So I have x plus 6 here. So what do I multiply x by to get minus 3x? And it's minus 3. And just check, minus 3 by plus 6 gives minus 18. So I'm left with x plus 6 and 2x minus 3. There you go. We'll factorize it. That's part 8. 9, we've got another, part 9, we've got another quadratic. So we have, what have we got? 3x squared plus 5x minus 2. So a is 3, c is minus 2. So a by c, 3 by minus 2 gives minus 6. So let's factorize that. So it's a minus number again. So it must be one positive and one negative. So we could have minus 6 and plus 1, or minus 1 and plus 6. These both of them multiply to give minus 6. 2 and minus 3, or minus 2 and plus 3. What else? That's it. Okay, so which of these adds up to give 5? Well, minus 1 plus 6 will give 5. So let's factorize that. So we got 3x squared minus 1x plus 6x minus 2. So now let's group these two and group these two. So the highest common factor here is x. So I got x multiplied by, so x times 3x will give me 3x squared, and x times minus 1, minus 1 will give me minus 1x. And then so I've got 3x minus 1. So what do I multiply 3x by to get 6x? And it's plus 2. And let's just check. 2 times minus 1 does give minus 2. So now I can write 3x minus 1 and x plus 2. So I factorize it. I've written it as a product. So part 9, part 10, we've got, what have we got? 25x squared minus 16y squared. So this is a straightforward one. You should recognize this as the difference of two perfect squares. Because 25 and 16 are perfect square numbers. So that's the same as 5x all to be squared minus 4y all to be squared. So the difference of two perfect squares. So we're left with 5x minus 4y and 5x plus 4y. So the first is 5x, second is 4y. So I factorize that again. Now, and the last one, part 11, we've got 10x plus 5. So we've got to figure out which one is it. So this is going to be, we're just going to take out a common factor, and the common factor is 5. So we got 5 multiplied by 2x gives 10x, and 5 multiplied by plus 1 gives 5. So the common factor is 5. 5 by 2x is 10x, 5 by 1 is 5. Okay, and the last questions we got, you can see my battery's about to go here, so in the camera. So I'm going to do these quickly. So we've got question 10. We have to add up. So we've got minus 3 plus 5. So let's just show you how to do that. So we got 0. I'm going to draw a number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, let's go 6. Okay, so we have to add up. It's minus 3 plus 5. So let's go to minus 3, which is here, and it's plus 5. So because it's plus, we're going to go to the right 5 spaces. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I get to 2, and that's my answer. Second one, I've got, let me see, well, let's do minus, well, it's minus 6 minus 9. So if you do the same thing, I'm going to do, let me see, I'll do another number line here quickly. So we got, I think my battery's about to go. So we got 0, 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2.